must unite what has been set asunder.
We are TFR. Truth Frequency Radio.
When you finally boil it all down, magic is imagination. We are moving into an age of manifestation. Things become actually less material, more ethereal. The golden dawn is when we awaken to this new station of life. What you think becomes real quicker. Regain our imagination, regain our inner child, and let that inner child out.
My name is Frank Castle, founding member of the music group Heist and New York City Neo Shaman. After a serious injury sidelined my career in 2013, I decided to set out on an adventure to search for myself with the help of the plant medicine Ayahuasca. What I discovered waiting for me was something I could have never prepared for. It was time for me to become something more, someone more. It was time I became fearless. Shine as my heart beats a rhythm with space and time. When the light starts to shine inside your third eye, you awake to the knowledge that you never die. All right, what's going on? It's Saturday night. This is Fearless. I'm your host, Frank Castle, and I'm here with my co-conspirator, co-host, etherical translator, Paula. How you doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm all right. You know, a lot of things going on lately, and it makes it hard to concentrate when the world is so crazy, and you have to kind of step out of the crazy once in a while to calm yourself a little bit, just so you can fall into place, get your thoughts together. You know, I find that to be one of the difficult things that we do. Now that we're in the future, I want to say shout outs to Chris and Cherie. I don't know who heard last night's show, Chris's show. You know, there was a call that was asking about shamanism. And about how you can't be a shaman if you're not taught by another human to be a shaman. Well, that's absolutely false. But it's okay. So I'm going to say hello. Shout out to Cheryl. She's a shaman out there. She's doing it right. Shout out to my man Brian, who's hanging there, my brother. You know, and every once in a while you got to say hello to people, and you got to let people know the good is going on. You can't just hear it from me. You know, I want to throw it out to people sometimes because they're going to come back in. We have social media now. Social media connects us in 2 seconds. Let it speak for itself almost, you know. Okay. But, you know, I'm from the music group Heist, by the way. Don't forget to check us out on YouTube, HeistClick. I feel so weird sometimes doing promotions for myself. I kind of feel like I'm almost out of that. Like when I was younger, I was like, hey, check out Heist. Oh, my God, it's the greatest thing on earth.
Yeah, but you want people to know how to find you.
No, absolutely, absolutely. But now that we're doing an Ayahuasca show, it just seems a little, you know. But check us out. We're on Amazon, iTunes, iHeart, Spotify, Xbox Live. Check us out on Reverb Nation, Heist Music. You can get us on SoundCloud. You can check all our stuff out for free. And then if you want to show your support, download. And don't forget, you can sign up to TFR. And you can get all the archive material, you know, wherever you are. You want to make it TFR. So it's kind of good to do that. You could also get the app. So check us out on truthfrequencyradio.com. And I love the show. And I want to start tonight with a little bit of love because last night things got a little bit kooky and it freaked me out a little bit. Challenging the shamanistic approach when people are trying to do it. Like nobody has a real, even the book, the shaman book, isn't really helping as much as you need to be hands-on in the whole product.
Oh, absolutely. You need to be hands-on.
Right. That's the whole thing. You got to jam your hands into it and you got to start working it. I mean, they're talking to you. They're telling you. People that have heard the show before know that I seem to, every time I have some kind of psychedelic experience, I now deal with the entire other side, everything we don't see. Everything from aliens to entities to demons to goddesses in the ninth dimension that emanate love. By the way, the show's all about her tonight.
Funny you should bring her up.
Yes. In fact, we're talking about the goddess Isis. Back when I started my journey, or we could just say last week's episode, we ended with the end of the second DMT trip. Well, the next day, because that night was all, oh my goodness.
Right, the wow factor. The
Wow factor.
fascination.
All right. Fear seemed to explode out of me the second time, right? So out of DMT, the second time I had no fear. So I said immediately, this is the best thing ever. Like I felt completely rearranged on the inside. There's comfort in knowing there's so much more happening.
Absolutely.
My biggest fear, honestly, was that of death. Will you remember me when I'm gone? How will people understand and know? And I haven't done it, like all that stuff. And then you realize what's going on. You don't have to worry about any of that.
Well,
You
there
do
is
your
no
best.
Death, yeah. You learn there is no death through these experiences.
And it's so hard to tell somebody, because scientists will turn around and say, listen, when you do ayahuasca, it simulates death. And I said, I actually spoke to a guy and I said, so it simulates death, but really you just go to sleep, but you're awake in the sleep. And they're like, right, death. And I said, no, like sleep. We go to sleep every night. So we simulate death every evening. We just don't gasp that last breath of air. You're breathing when you do ayahuasca.
That's
You're
an
breathing
interesting
when
way
you're
to
doing
look at
DMT. I was a million miles away in another dimension, in another shape, in a different form, and I knew I was breathing. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of these things. Somebody was just hitting me up online saying, I get scared. I'm scared, but I have a high anxiety, but I want to do it. Or I'd like to let it go. Then just let it go. There's nothing more you're going to do, right? Like how much can you prepare for something like that?
You can prepare your mind. You can prepare your body for the
But
experience.
let's just say
yeah.
you're going crazy all the time and you need it, and you're like, oh my God, I think this is what I need. And see how it doesn't slow down?
No,
That's a product
it
of
builds
what,
momentum.
right. So you have to step in at one point and say, because there's a voice in your head, and you have to say, listen, no, because I used to get like that. You see me, I get hyper. I drink coffee right before the show. I'm hyper. You start to find yourself like overthinking it so much because you'll hear someone like me. I'm just reporting my facts, right?
Right. This is
my
coming from
perception.
Your perception, your experience.
If the truth resonates and helps, or if you enjoy the story, then thumbs up.
Yeah.
If you don't like it,
don't listen.
Don't listen. That's there's more going on out there, and we're just trying to share. And now we have the opportunity to share, and I'm so thankful for that. By the way,
I am too. I am too. Because this is a lot of information you've received in a very short period of time. We're talking about most of this information being compiled over the last 2 years. That's a lot of information to receive.
And
to fix yourself.
People approached me and said, "Why are you not doing a longer show? There's so much more. Why don't you have guests?" And I said, I want to lay the groundwork so everyone knows my perspective before I bring anyone else in.
Oh, absolutely. I think you should finish telling your story.
Because we're going to catch up. I say this every week. We're going to catch up eventually, and it's going to catch up quickly, and we're going to have tons to just constantly talk about, where the discussion can become like a now thing.
But you want to lay the foundation work for the experiences that you did have that put you on this path.
Right. Well, you know what it is, too?
People need to know that.
I read a lot of comics, and if you don't get the origin story, then it's not. You always ask questions. You'll always have questions if you don't know how this started.
Right.
So like, where did you get this from? Where did you get that from? Because people shout me down all the time. They always want to say, and you, how do you, and what you? I said, I didn't do anything to anyone. All I did was speak my truth from what I saw. Whether you like it or not, it occurred in my world. But I know there's other people that this is happening to on many layers and levels.
Yeah.
I still find a difficult time. I have a difficult time finding people that directly talk to these entities, but I know people talk to angels. I hear about it all the time. I know some people channel. I know there's other ways to channel, by the way. You don't have to let things in your body, but I've seen a couple of times where there's some kind of an agreement and you could let in an entity or a consciousness.
You give your consent.
With consent, and then they bounce later, and it's all message of good stuff. People call it the hippie. It's like a hippie message. And I've listened to this message now so deeply. You've done it with me. You've been listening ridiculously, especially as lately. We listen to a lot of stuff. And what's the lady's name we listen to? I want to give her a shout out.
Barbara Marciniak, the Pleiadians, and Esther, Abraham Hicks.
Right. So now the information that comes out, all right, it's if I broad stroked it, it could come across as just a love hippie kind of thing. You know, a bunch of weirdos thinking they're... When you listen to these people talk, even if they're not channeling, there's something happening.
Absolutely.
That's so big. It's so big that when the message comes out in 3 to 4 hour sessions, I'm stunned. I'll listen from the bathroom.
Yeah, it's like a download of information you're receiving.
I'll run into the room and scream, "Oh my God, did you hear that?" And lowercase g. And it'll be something that just relatively happened to me recently, and we'd be discussing. And now it's on the table through someone who's channeling a Pleiadian.
But the messages are also the same across all boards. They're coming from the Pleiadians, the Arcturians, people like Louise Hay and Wayne Dyer to Abraham. These are people that channel. These are people that just know that to survive in this new earth and to be part of the shift that's happening, you need to change your way of thinking. So it's a common message across all themes.
Absolutely.
Be the best person that you can be for yourself.
Yeah, see, that's when it gets unhippie. It's like, listen, you need to control yourself. You need to have some kind of responsibility inward. I know you got a lot of things going on. We all have kids, pets, school,
responsibilities,
homework.
Things that take you away from looking in and
they think it's hogwash. But you'll watch TV and all right, I've seen some people watch soap operas. Some people watch the Kardashians and act. You don't think you're acting that way.
Role-playing what you're seeing.
Like you really think that exists, but you find it. And then you'll follow religion, by the way, and go to church on Sunday, and then think it's weird when someone says to you, "Hey, listen, the spirits are talking." And they're not saying that same. They're saying, "Get away from that," and they think you're crazy, and you're following. You say, "But look at the path you're on, and how filthy it is." And I'm not telling you not to go out and get laid. I'm not telling you not to have a good time, but you have to have some kind of balance and self-control, everything in moderation. Losing the fear is part of looking inward because people are afraid. I've heard,
afraid to look inward.
I'm comfortable with my demon castle. My demon helps me with creativity. And I'm like, well, you offered that to me. Like a lot of people I know, they'll just start thinking I'm going to DMT them right away because I might have did that in the beginning.
Yes, you are a big advocate for DMT.
Right. They were screaming the other night, "What a salesman!" And I'm like, well, it's not really. I'm not really selling anything to you. You should just be listening. You wouldn't be here. Some people in the situation, it's like you wouldn't be here talking to me specifically
if you didn't think you needed to drink.
Right. Or it would be like, what are you doing here? Yeah. You're just here to watch me babble? Or do you think I'm crazy? All it takes is 10 minutes of your time. That's when I throw it back at people. All right. Anyway, so there are forces out there that are amazing. This is what I'm getting to.
Absolutely.
And they pull us with a calling. They call it the calling. Some people see the light. Alcoholics have a, what do they call that? Like that moment of clarity where they just know, hey, man, I've reached these moments of clarities in fear. I was in jail in 1997, 98 for something ridiculous, and fear literally sitting in there, and people were screaming at me, and I just locked the door, like clink, and I sat up on my bunk, and I was rocking back and forth, like, what am I going to do now? Now, what am I going to do? And I popped out of my body.
Was that the first experience?
No, I had experiences since I'm a child with this. But, Pete, now, these sound scary. Like, I floated out of my body, out of the wall. Okay. Came back in, watched it all happen. Then I started playing with, I said, I could do this. This is really happening. So the fear became excitement. Then the excitement became practice. During the practice, it became easier and easier and easier and easier. Okay. With all the scary stuff on the side, all the crazy entities aside, all the crazy things I talk about aside, there is someone beautiful, the emanation of love, high in the ninth density, because the densities and dimensions are two different things. I want to clarify that. Sometimes I mess up. Don't hang me for it. But in that density, and it's high up there, it's almost like every shade of red is in it. Somehow color, I've said this before, unlocks areas to these higher densities. It's like that's the color that's there. And inside that color resides an entity who I believe is the entire color scheme. She, I say she because it's a female energy. There's this love that just pours out. It's a nonstop never-ending emanation.
Sacred feminine.
The sacred feminine. I looked up some stuff tonight just so we can see what a goddess is, let's say. Goddess is a female deity with the supernatural powers in polytheistic religions. Goddesses most often have feminine characteristics that are apotheized in their pure form. However, in some cases, goddesses may embody neutral forms, personifying both male and female characters, like Sophia, or they may even exhibit traits that are traditionally associated with the male gender, such as the case of Artemis. Goddesses have been especially linked with virtues as beauty and love and motherhood, fertility, mother goddess in cult prehistoric times. But because of their flexibility in gender portrayal, they have also been associated with ideas such as war, creation, and death.
From beginning to end.
Right. And the sacred feminine itself, we were just reading before, actually comes from the Hindu. Mm-hmm. So there's this female, I want to bring it down now. There's this female superpower of love. Okay? And that love is echoing throughout the densities. When I look up, or have been in this density, I've seen that it goes higher, which is, I find weird, but the light becomes more and more white, sterile, and there seems to be some male type entities there. But the female entity known as Isis, I want to get this straight. It's the goddess of love, resides in the 9th density. She sits there and emanates love. It is what she does, from one end of the spectrum to the other. Okay. We could talk about the conspiracy with ISIS, with the terrorist organization. I've said this before. It's black magic because we are spellcasters. We are told that they're named ISIS, terrorist organization, beheading people and killing everyone. So we get all worked up and we say, kill ISIS, get rid of ISIS. Now, when you're shouting that and you actually have no basis of knowledge, because you don't, you should. You got to stop watching Fox News. You got to stop watching all the regular media channels and go searching for some truth once in a while. There's some good stuff out there. But they're programming you to hate the terrorist organization, but the spellcasting word, ISIS, comes out of your mouth with hate attached to it in some way.
Sure, you're saying hate love. Hate love.
Hate love.
Kill love.
Kill love. Destroy love. Bomb love. Nuke love. That's what you're saying. I know you might think I'm crazy, but I think you're crazy. Because if you can't see it, they changed the name. They changed it to ISIL. They're getting caught now in between because the powers of love are beginning to rise. This is why we even have a show. We're talking the truth. Even though it's my perspective and your perspective of the truth, it is still the truth. So that's why it's emanating with people, and that's why we're coming forward with the information. Okay, now let's get away from that for a second and go back to the goddess.
Okay.
Chris directly speaks to her, Chris Geo, during his...
I know you tell me that's so wild.
Right, it's crazy, right? It's like, wow, he talks to Isis, the goddess of love. But we all seem to have traits that go back to the different... it's almost like you're on a team of a specific deity. It's like... From creator, the line runs through and then splits.
Yeah, you and Chris have that in common.
Well, he seems to have the Osiris connection with Isis, and I have the Horus connection, which is, I fought this, everybody, tooth and nail. This isn't something I just woke up and said I had to tell everyone. I had to tell everyone about the experience and that you should try DMT and ayahuasca. But let me tell you that the after effects, which I think a lot of people... They all think like, entities and everything. For the next 28 to 29 days afterwards,
receiving downloads of information.
It is just, it's better almost than the whole experience itself. Right? Because it helps you on your human side.
It's connecting all the dots.
All of them. And then you have your first big revelation on like the 29th, 30th day. That's when it really starts.
Well, that's the reset.
Listen, it lasted for me, the first time lasted 5 months, right? And then I was doing it in 3 month spurts almost. And then I went monthly because they were like, no, this is an every 30-day thing for a shaman. That's a whole nother story. But that we'll go to now what happened that night, because people are like, okay, what is ayahuasca, right?
Okay, so we're talking about the night that you drank.
Yes. Now
ayahuasca.
Yes.
Okay.
Because she's directly related. I just did this whole ISIS thing because I want you to know the character.
Okay, and you were with Chris when this happened.
Yes. Well, he's my shaman.
Right. Okay.
So we work it back and forth with each other. We're neo shaman.
No. I just want to make sure I'm in the same place in the story that you are.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. So there are some preparations that you need to do beforehand. Ayahuasca is a plant medicine. It's a therapeutic experience. It's known to cure depressions, stop addictions, and promote mental and physical health. Okay, like everything else, it's maybe not for everyone. There's you see entities, you deal with a heavy duty workload internally, so to speak. So if you see this, or maybe you have a weak heart or something, maybe this isn't for you specifically. There's other things that you can do if you're interested. You don't need a psychedelic to break the chains. But if you want to break them immediately, you go right to ayahuasca.
Right, and you're not advocating to anyone to do it.
I'm not
You're
telling
just
you to
letting
do it.
them know this works
This is
for
my
you.
disclaimer.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
We say it every time. I'm not crazy, but everything that I speak to you about is what I do. You don't have to go do it, but I suggest to some people they do it because it will. I see the shaman out there. I see them. It's so difficult after being cleared out and then having to go through this. So there's slight preparation we do.
Sure, you have to cleanse your body, right?
I was told you're going to throw up. You're going to really throw up.
Well, that's the purge.
The purge. That sounds scary, right?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't they do a movie about that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, where they came around that one night and just purged everyone out.
But that's essentially what's happening.
That's kind of what you're doing. When you rid yourself of cancer and all kinds of different diseases, you're purging it out. So I'm not too big on throwing up. I was worried about going to the bathroom. That was my big deal. So I was told, make sure you fast. I said, it's funny. I haven't eaten properly in 3 days. They said, well, 2 weeks is more like it. But it seems that Aya, the plant mother of the medicine, understands this and works with you somewhat. Mm-hmm. So I said, no, I'm not on any medication. You can't be on any medication. That's another thing. People, if you're taking anything, the answer is no.
No medication, no caffeine, no sugar, no chocolate, no
OxyContin. I got to tell you all this stuff, and as we lay out the story, because it's so important. Because I know people after they're going to hear tonight's episode, they're going to go, "I want to do this," because
I'll never ever try that ever in my life.
Yeah, I don't want to scare you, but I'm going to tell you the truth.
Of course.
But
that's why you're here. You're telling your story.
Listen, if I shave the beard, I could look like a big baby. Mm-hmm. Big baby face, right?
Don't shave the beard.
No, I will never shave the beard. It's kind of like that's where the power comes from. Mm-hmm. And then after seeing my Egyptian self, although I've had the beard for years, then you see why you have that. And I said, oh, wow.
Right, but you wouldn't have been able to put all this together without
ayahuasca.
So
yeah.
Let's get back to the story.
Well, I see that the break's coming up, so I'm worried about
No, you can start
into the story. Okay, so no medications, definitely no SSRIs. If you're putting things in you because you feel that you're a little off, you got to be off all that medication for 2 weeks. Okay. All medication gone for 2 weeks. So now we're pretty much straight just drinking water. You could smoke weed, by the way. Don't let anyone tell you, oh, no, you can't mix. Everybody gets so, oh, you have to go to Peru to do this, or you're not really doing it. I tell them, yo, you're like missing the point of the entire thing. No, you're missing the point by not doing it in the jungle with a proper shaman. No, you're spending $3,000 and possibly running into a really rough time if you're a gringo out there with people that really don't know what they're doing, when you could do it from the comfort of your living room with a shaman or neo-shaman like myself. Okay. So the brew's prepared by taking the acacia plant, the root of it, and just shaving it down and throwing it in a pot of water for 10 hours. So I said, that's it? That's the big deal? I mean, everybody's always like, oh my God, what kind of chemical?
So once you wrapped your head around it
well, I got to watch the entire process. And then I said to myself, I would never be able to do this. I'd never be able to do this. But the night before, I was shown how to do everything. Mm-hmm. But I was watching it live going, wow, this is cool. So we basically, Chris goes deep. Chris doesn't kind of do it. He goes all the way. They explained to me, listen, you'll have enough time to go to the bathroom. So usually you drink about half a cup. And then if you need to, you drink another half cup. Okay. We drank 3 full cups, and we did them like giant shot glasses.
Oh.
I was no longer afraid after the DMT trip.
Mm-hmm. So prepared you for the ayahuasca.
You got to understand, I'm not doing this from let's just do this. I was injured. I'm still injured. My spine is right now not really being friendly with the rest of my body, right? So
yeah, you're in a lot of pain.
I don't want to take any medication. Ayahuasca heals you. Mm-hmm. So I want it in me. What's the worst that can happen? Now, mind you, I'm going on tour. So I have to do this. I can't take baby steps because I only have a certain amount of time. Yeah, you want to be
all in. You only have a certain amount of time there.
So I said, I'm going to the deep end of the pool rather than... Mm-hmm. By the way, how do you get any further or any crazy cooler than sitting with the creator? Right? So then that's how it started. 3 shots right down the hatch. And when we come back from the break, we're gonna go a little
talk
deeper.
About your experience. Go a little deeper.
Thank you for tuning in tonight. This is FearLess. TruthFrequencyRadio.com. Protection from deception. I'm saying that.
Truth Frequency Radio is your #1 source for news and information without the hate, hype, and fear. We are proud to bring you cutting-edge programs like The Kev Baker Show, The Freedom Link with Joe Joseph, Truth Frequency with Chris and Cherie Geo, The Christopher Everard Show, X Squared with Brooks Agnew, Down the Rabbit Hole with Popeye, Freaky Friday with The Wool Crew, Waking Up the Masses with Robert Bruce, Phoenix Rising Radio, and dozens more. Did you know you can listen from any computer, mobile device, or from any telephone by dialing 832-225-5308. Or call into your favorite show toll-free at 866-37-TRUTH. Uncensored talk and news you won't hear in the mainstream media. 24 hours a day. Truth Frequency Radio. We are EFR. Your protection from deception.
Hi, I'm Gil Fulbright, and the people who bankroll my political career tell me I'm running for president. So here I am.
Real, hardworking Americans are important to me, is a tagline I will be using throughout this entire campaign.
I may not be qualified to be president, but a dramatic camera angle can make me look like a president. A president with the conviction to nod, the courage to point, and the experience to cram buzzwords into everything I jobs. Ideas, policies, morals. These are things I don't need. Every 4 years, Americans are faced with a critical choice. Clinton or Bush or someone else. Well, I'm Gil Fulbright, and with a big enough donor, I can be that someone else. I'm Honest Gil Fulbright, and I approve of whatever my marketing team has put into this message.
Portal to Ascension is bringing forth groundbreaking information and awareness from the world's top visionaries, scientists, speakers, authors, doctors, and spiritual leaders that are assisting humanity in unlocking their true consciousness. We explore and pioneer cutting-edge information from globally renowned leaders on conscious topics through our integrated multimedia platform for online and live events. These events are designed to empower and increase awareness for all of humanity, so we may collectively shift into a paradigm based on unity, transparency, and truth. We explore a wide variety of consciousness relating to self-empowerment, sacred sound and vibration, UFO disclosure, ET awareness, true ancient history, quantum mechanics, metaphysics, conscious living, and spirituality. Our online platform is designed to assist you in expanding and awakening your consciousness. The Portal to Ascension website can take you front row seat live to the educators, teachers, and wisdom keepers themselves. Log on now to www.portaltoascension.com.
The Liam Chef Show, Thursdays on Truth Frequency Radio.
Am I awake or is this a dream? A fantasy of where I'd rather be. So come and talk with me. Come and walk with me. Is this a wake-up call from my reality? Have you seen my friends? Have you seen my girl? Wake me up from this. I'm trapped in this world. Thought you were alive.
I wrote this, it was a year before my ayahuasca experience. That's Come Alive, by the way. That's one of my solo tracks. I know it's a little out there, but the lyric's so intense, working its way into my life now. Mm-hmm. It was like it was like telling the future in a song.
Yeah.
And how my whole world changed. And I'm just thinking, wow, this is just a breakout song. Interesting how the synchronicities line you up. I was thinking about this during the break. I'm not inclined to tell you how to make ayahuasca on the radio. So there is a little bit more to it than just boiling the root, but really not much. But that's not really what I'm here to do. I just want you to know that. So when I make it sound simple, sometimes I'm kind of just running through it quickly. Yeah. And I try to go back and clarify things. I have a tendency to go far off to in the separate directions. Okay, so we take 3 glasses, drink them down. You want to sip this stuff when you first look at it because you're like, I wonder what this tastes like. I mean, it's brown. It's brown like...
Yoo-hoo.
Yeah, like Yoo-hoo. Excuse me. It doesn't taste like Yoo-hoo, though.
No.
How would you... I call it earthy.
Earthy, yeah. It's very earthy taste.
It's something you've never tasted before, ever. And something that you would remember the taste and the smell.
And the smell. The smell.
Smells kind of good, though. I mean, maybe it's just me.
Yeah, it's just you.
Having that like boiling through the house all day.
Yeah,
it's almost like if you took the MAOI right before and just walked around with the steam in the house.
All right, let's talk about the experience now, because now I'm smelling it.
Okay, so I'm wondering how do I deal with this? It's going to be a couple hours. Right. So
this is what you're saying after you
to my head. Okay. Yeah, we drank it down. Everyone was like, yeah, we had fear. We were shaking.
Of course. You have to have a little fear. You have to have that shows respect. You have to go in with respect.
Fear. Yeah. That's the kind of fear I had because I was fearless because I'm ready to do it. Come on, we're going to do this because I know it's going to help. But I'm like looking at Chris shaking.
Sure.
And he's like shaking. And they were teaching me about the respect factor for it. We didn't just throw this stuff together.
No, you need to go in with respect.
We were like setting intentions. Yep. Please help me. Please heal me. I want to be loved. After what I saw the night before, I said, I want to be loved. I want to be protected. Protected's a big one. I always say, protect me. Please protect me. Mm-hmm. I know something crazy is going to happen. I don't know what it's going to be. Every time I assume, I get kicked right in the ribs. Hands down every time. Just when you think you're not going to be surprised anymore, you 1-2 punch.
Right. So these are the intentions that you're setting.
Right. Please don't let me go in my pants.
Yeah.
That was a big one. Right. So, okay. It takes a little while to hit. Mm-hmm. It's got to like soak in. The MAOI that you take's got to kill any acids in your stomach that would eat the DMT. So having a couple of cups in you, there was plenty to hit. Yeah. The face she just made.
I can't even think about it.
So I was laying down and I was talking with Chris and Cherie and everybody was just kind of relaxing. And then I felt like, when that gurgle Like we were sitting with buckets waiting to throw up, and we were making jokes.
Well,
Like,
you were expecting it.
Is that your
ready.
bucket?
You were expecting it.
That's such a nice looking bucket.
So you were holding your vomit bucket.
Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely.
And we had like blankets wrapped around us. We had great music on. And I'm thinking like...
Ooh, it's like camping, but no marshmallow.
Yeah. So I remember saying like, all right, I got my bucket, but then I heard blue in my stomach.
You felt, yeah.
And I went,
you felt nauseous.
And I heard the voice in my head again.
Yes.
And it said, go to the bathroom right now. And I was like, Chris, did you tell me to go to the bathroom? And he's like, no, I didn't tell you, but if they're telling you, you better go.
That's the voice in your head.
Yeah. And but it was like an external voice. Mm-hmm. So I got up and I was like, Cherie, I got to use the bathroom. Bye. And I ran in there and I'm like, I got the bucket in front of me. And then it was like liquid. Everything was liquid. Mm-hmm. Right. And as it was coming out, it hurt. Like, there was a lot. Like I didn't understand that. I didn't have anything in my system.
Right.
I know it's only been a couple of days, but when you're on tour, you're not eating as much.
Well, that's why they call it the purge. You're purging all of that negativity out of you.
I heard from people, if there's black stuff comes out of you.
Well, you saw that.
I saw it in me. I don't want to get over descriptive, but we get the idea of what's happening. It was like tar, almost. And I was thinking to myself, oh my God. And little lowercase g. It's almost like I could get up now. I said, am I done?
Yeah. And this is not a metaphor. He's speaking truly. This is not a metaphor for something else. The amount of fluid that comes out of you during this purge is incredible.
But it comes out and it's over. This isn't a lingering throw up or, going
for everyone it's different.
You go, you crap your brains out. Yeah, but you're not going to crap for 45 minutes. You're going to go to the bathroom. You're going to throw up. It's going to be over quickly. People get nervous with all this, so you have to explain it to them. Just give them piece by piece.
Sure.
That's enough about that, though. So I hear, that's it. You're done. You got 60 seconds to clean yourself up, wash your face, and go outside. And I thought to myself, okay. And as I looked up, the walls, the lines in the walls, the edges and the lines started to appear like golden energy and moving. And I said, oh no, I'm teleporting in the bathroom. And I hear, no, clean up. So as I'm doing that, all the edges on everything start just glowing. And I'm like, this is awesome. This is awesome. Oh my God, I'm so happy I didn't shit myself. I didn't throw up. I got my bucket with me. I wash my hands and face. I clean up. I run outside. And then I stop in the hallway and I see Cherie at the other end of this little hallway. And all the lights are out. There's like this little black light thing, I think, going. Either that or that's the background I was seeing.
Sure, and in your experience.
Cherie's really short and she's really petite. And the strands of her hair were glowing red and blue.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Glowing. And they were the individual strands. So as I got closer, I was looking at her like all creepy, probably like, who's this guy coming in the hallway looking at and I said, your hair, oh my God, the electricity and the lines in your, and I looked on the walls and the energy was like following me, almost like go this way. And they were like lighting up the edges of the hallway. But then I seen things in the hallway start to come out of the wall. And I could almost rest my arm on stuff. And as I'm walking up to Cherie going, this is amazing. You don't even understand what I'm seeing. She was like, what are you seeing? And I went to go lean on something that wasn't really there. And I didn't lean on it naturally. It didn't really come out of the wall. But I said, oh my goodness, what's happening? And I hear, you got 10 seconds. Lay down. So she grabbed me and she's like, hey.
So this voice is basically keeping you safe.
Oh my, is it keeping me safe? Because as I took steps. Now, I'm pretty big. I mean, I'm only 5'8", but I'm 200 pounds. I put my arm around her, and I had to have her walk me to the floor. Right? That's how fast it was affecting me as I was walking. But all I felt was this. I said, like, oh, we're teleporting out of here. We're going on. And as I lay down, I hear, she just tells me, shh, 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 be quiet. Just listen if they're talking. So I'm like, okay. And then, oh my goodness. And I hear, oh my, you're injured. Look at your neck. Look at your back.
And you're hearing this. The same voice that told you,
you
have 10 seconds
this
to lay
is a
down.
female voice.
Oh, this is a female voice.
And I felt like it was over me, like out of my belly button, projected up, standing over my face, kind of. It was really an interesting feeling, but it was so much love. So I'm laying there and I'm like, oh my, I sound really weird doing this sometimes because it was very childish or babyish of me. I was like,
no, you felt safe while you were having this experience.
But it was like, I felt like the presence of super mom, like she's here, the presence.
Well, she was, that's Aya.
Now, this is a female energy. It is from the plants itself. It's plant medicine.
She's keeping the planet alive.
It is the soul of this planet. It is a female, and her name, I call her Aya. There's Mother Earth, Gaia, a million different names. Call it whatever you want. Just be respectful, right? So
she's speaking to you.
She's speaking to me, but I think she's staring at me. So I'm looking up off the floor like, oh my, this is... I say oh my a lot, but these are such grand moments. When have you seen something appear out of nothing? Where? Disneyland? And you're like, I'm on a ride. Duh.
Yeah, or a movie.
I'm freeballing in the living room, and all I want is healing help. And there's an entity that's
sitting
beautiful. I mean, so I went, oh, my neck, I'm injured, my back, my shoulder. And then it was like, you poor baby. Like, not baby, like little baby. Like, oh my, like she got...
So she was very mothering with you.
Yeah, she like put her fingers behind my neck and pulled me to her. But I was just laying on the floor. I was kind of squirming. Like it was a weird experience. I must have been making very weird noises. I felt almost like a child talking to the mother. Like, oh, like I'm injured, look at me. But she was there doing it.
And she was comforting you.
Oh my goodness, comforting beyond... I can't explain it. It's like when you're a baby or a young child and you look at a parent for like, that first, oh my goodness, it's mom. Like you just cling on to mom.
Yeah.
It was like that. But she has this goddess energy. She's separate from Isis goddess, but Isis goddess emanates love everywhere. And then the planet soul is feminine, another sacred feminine, another archetype. And we're born out of the earth, out of a mother, onto this earth. We die, we are put in the dirt, and the recycling process.
Sure, you return from what you can.
This is the mother of the planet, of us, no matter how you look at it.
And you're feeling comforted by this energy.
Yes. I separate the two. When I'm with Aya, she's amazing, by the way. She also has that violet energy. She almost looks like a tree sometimes that comes to life. I've seen her move like as an energy tree directly across the house, and I've seen her do some really interesting stuff. She grounds you to the planet itself. See, we're like caretakers. This is all being explained to me. There's so much that happened, so I'm just talking, and all this is part of that experience.
So she is doing all of this comforting for you while you're having this experience, and she's telling you it's okay.
Yes, very much so. While telling me she told me my injuries, like specific, like this is where you're injured here, 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 and here. We're going to try to do some things
to relieve your pain.
Yes, absolutely. And I believe it, because when someone like this tells you, you believe it. You're with them, and all they want, you feel it from them head to toe.
All they want is for you to experience love.
Yes.
And that is so wild, because you have the best mother in the world. So for you to feel this way about an energy that you've just met while you're having this experience of drinking ayahuasca for the first time, that's amazing. The fact that you trusted this energy to comfort you and to tell you what needs to be done is amazing.
It was just the most sensational feelings of, like, we don't really, I mean, I can't speak for other people, but it reminded me before my parents' divorce how the feelings were in my house. Like, I would wake up and be happy. hey, Mom, Dad, hey, people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like my nephew does
every
that.
Every day is Christmas. Yeah.
Every day is Christmas. I have a little bit of that in me. Anyone that knows me knows that I get a little childish sometimes, but on the fun side, you know, I like comic books, superhero movies, all kinds of nutty stuff.
So now she's telling you it's going to be okay. We're going to try to fix you. She's going to tell you she's trying to ease your pain.
Yes.
Physical pain.
Physical pain, and was absolutely worried, like really, really worried about my state of being because I've looked at pictures from that night. And I had something going on. You could see it in my eyes. But there was a glow that came back. Because if you see the pictures from the week before, it was like I was just there. Then the DMT night, the next day I looked, I was still a mess.
The life in your face.
It was coming back, but I was a mess. I thought, I was getting so messed up. I thought one of my eyes was starting to go like weird. And within 10 seconds of being with this feminine energy of the planet, it was, everything felt different in my face. It was like instant maybe face massage and put everything back where it's supposed to go.
She was aligning your chakras as well.
Well, that was the next part, exactly what happened. I didn't really know about chakras, and I didn't know how that worked. But this was my real first time with the DMT elves. They came out to me while she was, you know, telling me, you know, all the injury stuff and making me feel good. They started walking up they came from across the room. They like walked across a ledge and then came directly towards me, but they weren't walking on anything. They were in the air. And as they were talking, like the first one in line would jump from, they were like coming up my leg and then jumping into my chest.
Oh, sure. Their job was to fix you, probably.
Now, they looked like they were diving into a pool one at a time, but they were all saying something to me as a group, and then as the individual would finish the statement, then the next one would go, hey, like it was, hey, Frank, how's it going? Jump into your chest. Your name's not Frank anymore. It's the creator, by the way. He jumped into my chest.
Wow,
and I was like, how did you know that?
amazing.
Well, I started gaining, you know, this names were given to me for different things, but back then it was just creator. And as they were diving in, I started conversating with them. And it was weird because for as much as we drank, it wasn't really that strong. But the healing effect, I was hearing noises, and it sounded like someone was crushing a car, or a crushed car was a dented can was being undented, perhaps.
Sure, they were fixing you up inside.
And I'm like, what are you guys doing? And they started singing and jumping and diving, and they rocked in a weird motion, like they were almost dance moving. And they were giggling at me and laughing. They're like, we're getting rid of this. And I'm like, all right, guys, what are you doing? And then they were like, look. And I'm like, how am I going to look? Like, I'm laying here on the floor. I didn't have this overwhelming take me out of my body. And then, so I said, all right. I looked at my chest, and my head was able to look directly down into my body.
Your body.
It was like I was
amazing.
looking down the top of my head, actually, into my throat,
body.
Down in, you know, all the way down.
And you saw these
They
machine
were
elves,
in there.
DMT elves.
These
fixing you?
DMT elves, to me, I perceive them as, they looked like starfish that had like a little face on them. And then like one of the arm, like the top point had the face, and then there was the two arms and the two little feet, and they were just do whatever. They don't grab you really and do anything. They sing things into fixing them and say things into fixing them, and they move around the objects and fix them. So I saw them with the crank, and they were cracking my spine. I think I told this story where they were cracking my spine into place and
fixing everything. Yeah.
But it was like, as they speak,
they were spell casting.
It was like magic.
They were spell casting the healing to you.
Exactly. And the cracking and moving, and I'm looking, and it's my spine going into place. My rib cage opened. I seen my heart beating. I seen all kinds of dark spots and clogs everywhere. And then it was like an interaction with the medicine that I drank, the ayahuasca,
and your physical body.
And it was telling me, it was helping me, I guess, because I don't know if it tells my body or your higher self does this. It's like, now talk to your body, tell it what to do. And it's like, heal me, heal me, heal me. You got to heal me. And then all the cells and all the white blood cells and everything start moving in time with you speaking.
Sure. Well, they say cell regeneration, you can do it.
I'm like, you guys need to go here and fix this. And they're like, well, your diet is horrible. Like, they would just say it. This is what's going on here. Like, apparently I was completely cleaned out at that moment because they were like, you see how it looks down here? And they started at the bottom. And they said, you see how clean it looks?
Yeah.
And I said, well, it was like all the way down.
Yeah, your intestines.
So I said, wow, it's so clean in here and squeaky clean. They're like, yeah, there's nothing left in here. So then I saw the color red. Dong. And I went, oh my God, what is lowercase g? What is that? And they were pushing me back now. Now they're pushing my head back up the way I came in. And then I saw orange. Bong, and it lit up. And I go, oh, this reminds me of some photo I seen on Facebook of some yoga class with some guy sitting there, and the colors were beginning to light up.
Sure, those are your chakra
Then
points.
I see the yellow. Boom. They're making these beautiful noises, and this color is going off inside my body.
So you're resonating with it, the entire experience that you're having. You're agreeing to the treatment. You have allowed Aya to comfort you. You're listening to the voices. You're doing everything you're supposed to do in your experience, and it's paying off because you feel like they're physically fixing your body.
I want to add to this my intention. You always put your intent in before you do something like this, and while you're doing it, and you keep it alive. Like, I want love, I want light.
So you set your intentions before you went in.
Yeah, I'm submitting to you.
So you submit to the experience.
I'm submitting to the whole thing.
I'm sure that makes a very big difference.
It's so much easier. I know people with control issues, they usually, they have this thing that they go through. It's not pleasant sometimes. It's like you got to just say, help me. It's like you go to a doctor and you say, help me. Why wouldn't you say to the plant medicine?
Absolutely, help me.
The doctor appeared. No matter how you want to look at this, it's already weird. I feel like I'm in Star Trek. I'm on a holodeck and things are just happening.
It sounds surreal. It sounds like you're making it all up.
Exactly, but you're wide awake and you're not making it all up. It's such an odd feeling. Okay, so we go back into my chest. I see green in my chest, and I'm like, oh, I've seen that before.
Heart chakra.
They're like, do you know what that is? And I said, that's my heart. And I go, I thought red would be in the heart. And they're like, no, green is in the heart. Do you know why? I always like green things. Green, green, green. They're like, you know why, right? And they're like, I'm like, no. I'm like, well, the Christ consciousness, not Jesus Christ, but the Christ consciousness resides in you, in your heart at all times. And I went, let me see. Because I was getting used to this now. When you do Aya, the weirdest things happen. But there's a point where you're okay with the deepest end of the pool. It's always astonishment and crazy, like, oh my, but you get cool with it. Like a certain song will come on while you're under, and the scene will change, and it's like you're flying over stuff, and if the colors, they're so random and just beautiful, and they're jumping out at you, and things are just offering you stuff. Hey, let me help you, and hey, and you start feeling like, all right.
So you're having a very positive experience. You're having a very comfortable, positive experience while all of this is happening to you.
Absolutely. And I felt so safe. I think I know she knows when she looks at each individual.
Aya. Right.
Aya looks at you and she knows what you need. Like your mother knows what the baby needs. She's like the mother and the doctor and pure love. She works directly with the female entities and deities, all are in relation to each other. I mean, for the love aspects, there's lower ones that you hear about that do crazy things, but
they're all there to love you, show you to love.
You get up to the seventh dimension, the seventh density and higher. You have to have love, or you're not getting in. You can't even get in. So I speak of the higher ones. I'll let you know when we.
Of course,
when we
because
drop
now
down.
You're experiencing love at its most beautiful, love at its purest form.
I could only compare it to. You can compare it to if you have a child. Like I don't have a child, but I look at my nephew and my niece, and Squeak the cat.
Yes, your baby. Yes, like I understand how you feel
like
about your
that.
baby.
I'm just moved thinking about it. And I know parents out there and you know.
Well, just your relationship with your mom. You have a beautiful relationship with your mother.
Absolutely. But you go to the greatest points of these, all of these experiences, and it's better than that by infinite. I mean, and as much as you need, it pours into you.
And that's exactly what you needed during that time
absolutely.
in your life. Yeah.
So all the chakras wind up aligning, cracking into place. And it became, I need you to hush now, and I need you to lay here quietly. You've seen the elves. They did their magic. You need to understand what just happened. And kind of put me down. I opened my eyes a bunch of times. It was really crazy what I was seeing outside. And then I just closed my eyes. And what felt like 20 minutes, maybe a half hour, it was actually like 3 hours. And I woke up, I just opened my eyes and I knew that I could get up. I didn't understand what was going on. There was like this blank part where it was just rest, heal. And I think my mind might have went way out there. I think that was a lot for like that's just 2 days.
Sure.
You know?
Sure, your mind couldn't.
Minus food, minus this, you know. You start to get like, I don't know what's happening. Your mind, my soul was fine with the whole thing.
Sure, your mind has to protect your body physically.
My heart
from
beats
the experience,
so hard sometimes, like, you know. And I'm like, why is it doing that? Why is my heart doing that? I'm fine. You see me here. I'm fine. And they're like, your body can't physically handle the crazy.
Well, but you did a good job on your first experience.
I just want to say that when I got up, I was fine. I jumped. And that first healing was amazing.
Yeah, let's stop it now because we'll pick this up in the next episode.
Sometimes I feel like I'm running
Yeah,
down the
that's the end of the show. We love you so much.
Ayahuasca just to free my mind.
Darkest hour, light shine brightest because you're never alone. FreeFrequencyRadio.com. We love you.